SaphiRose, an online store that's been generating quite a bit of buzz lately. We'll be conducting a thorough investigation to answer the burning question on everyone's mind. Is SaphiRose a legitimate online retailer, or is it another scam designed to take your money? Stick around until the end, because we'll be sharing real customer reviews and our final verdict. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is SaphiRose? SaphiRose, which operates through the domain SaphiRose.com, is an online retail website that appears to offer various products to consumers. When you first land on their website, you're greeted with what looks like a professional e-commerce platform. The site has a clean layout and seems to function like many other online stores we've all shopped from before. But appearances can be deceiving, which is exactly why we're doing this deep dive today. The purpose of SaphiRose, based on what we can see from their website, is to provide customers with access to products that they can purchase online and have delivered to their doorstep. This is the standard business model for most e-commerce sites. However, what separates legitimate businesses from scams is the follow-through, the quality of products, the honesty in advertising, and the customer service experience. We'll be examining all of these factors throughout this review. Now let's talk about what SaphiRose actually offers. Looking at their product catalog, we need to understand the range and variety of items available. The website appears to be structured as a typical online retail platform, which means they likely offer multiple categories of products. For any online store, the breadth of their offerings can tell us a lot about their business model and whether they're a specialized boutique or a more general retailer trying to capture a wider market. One thing we always look for when evaluating an online store is transparency. Do they clearly display what they're selling? Are the product descriptions detailed? Are there quality images? These are all indicators of a legitimate business that wants informed customers. Scam websites often use stock photos, provide vague descriptions, or make promises that seem too good to be true. As we go through this review, keep these red flags in mind. Let's navigate through the important pages of the SaphiRose website. First up, we have the homepage. The homepage is your first impression of any online business, and it needs to accomplish several things. It should load quickly, look professional, have clear navigation, and immediately communicate what the business offers. A legitimate company invests in their homepage because they know it's their digital storefront. When evaluating SaphiRose homepage, we're looking at design quality, functionality, and whether it instills confidence in potential buyers. Next, let's talk about their About Us page. This is absolutely critical. Legitimate businesses want you to know who they are, what their story is, and why you should trust them. An About Us page should include information about the company's history, mission, values, and ideally, information about the team or founders. Scam websites either skip this page entirely or fill it with generic, copied text that could apply to any business. Red flags on an About Us page include overly vague language, no specific details about the company's origins, or information that seems copied from other sources. The Contact Us page is another crucial element. How easy is it to get in touch with SaphiRose? Do they provide multiple contact methods like email, phone, and possibly live chat? Is there a physical address listed? Legitimate businesses want to be accessible to their customers because they know that good customer service leads to repeat business and positive reviews. Scam sites often make it deliberately difficult to contact them, or they provide fake contact information that leads nowhere. Some will only offer a contact form that never gets answered. Now we need to examine their terms and conditions page. Yes, we know these pages are boring and filled with legal jargon, but they're important. This page should outline the rules of doing business with SaphiRose. It should cover things like user responsibilities, account creation, prohibited uses, and liability limitations. The presence of a detailed terms and conditions page suggests that a company has invested in proper legal documentation, which is a positive sign. However, we also need to look for any suspicious clauses that might be unfairly weighted against the customer. The privacy policy is equally important in today's digital age. This document should explain how SaphiRose collects, uses, stores, and protects your personal information. With data breaches and identity theft being major concerns, a legitimate company takes privacy seriously. They should be transparent about what data they collect, why they need it, and who they might share it with. If a website doesn't have a privacy policy, or if the policy is suspiciously vague, that's a major red flag. Your personal information, including payment details, is valuable and needs protection. Let's talk about their shipping and delivery page. This is where many scam sites reveal themselves. Legitimate businesses are upfront about shipping costs, delivery timeframes, and what regions they serve. They provide tracking information and have clear policies about what happens if a package is lost or delayed. Questions you should be asking. Does SaphiRose clearly state their shipping times? Are the timeframes realistic? Do they offer multiple shipping options? What countries or regions do they ship to? Scam sites often promise unrealistic delivery times or are vague about shipping, which allows them to make excuses later. The return and refund policy page is perhaps one of the most telling pages on any e-commerce site. A confident, legitimate business stands behind their products and makes returns relatively straightforward. While no one expects returns to be completely hassle-free, there should be a clear process outlined. What is SaphiRose's return window? Do they offer full refunds or only store credit? Who pays for return shipping? Are there items that can't be returned? Scam websites either don't have a return policy at all, make it nearly impossible to actually return items, or have terms so restrictive that you'll never qualify for a refund. Moving on to the product pages. This is where we can really evaluate what SaphiRose is selling. Product pages should include multiple high-quality photos showing the item from different angles. The product description should be detailed, including materials, dimensions, care instructions, and any other relevant specifications. There should be accurate pricing with any discounts clearly explained. Customer reviews on the product page are also valuable, though we need to verify if these reviews are genuine or fabricated. When examining product pages, we're looking for consistency and attention to detail. Are all products presented with the same level of care? Do the images look professional, or are they grainy stock photos that might be stolen from other websites? Are there spelling or grammatical errors in the descriptions? While minor typos can happen to anyone, excessive errors suggest a lack of professionalism or that the site was hastily put together, both of which are warning signs. Let's discuss pricing. One of the biggest red flags with scam websites is pricing that seems too good to be true. If SaphiRose is selling products at prices dramatically lower than competitors, we need to ask why. Legitimate businesses operate on margins, and while they can offer sales and discounts, they can't consistently sell quality products at prices that don't make business sense. Scammers use unrealistic pricing to lure in victims who are excited about getting a great deal, only to deliver counterfeit products, inferior quality items, or nothing at all. Now let's analyze the overall website quality and security. When you're on SaphiRose.com, check the URL bar. Is there a padlock icon indicating a secure HTTPS connection? This is basic security that protects your data as it travels between your browser and their server. Any legitimate e-commerce site in the current era should have SSL certification. The absence of HTTPS is a massive red flag that should make you immediately leave the site. Website functionality is another indicator of legitimacy. Does the site load properly? Are there broken links or images that don't display? Is the navigation intuitive? Do all the buttons and features work as expected? While even legitimate sites can have occasional technical issues, a consistently buggy or poorly functioning website suggests that the operators haven't invested in proper development and maintenance, which raises questions about their overall legitimacy and professionalism. Let's talk about payment methods. What options does SaphiRose accept? Legitimate online stores typically offer multiple payment methods, including major credit cards, PayPal, and possibly other digital payment services. The payment methods available can tell us a lot about a site's legitimacy. Credit cards and PayPal offer buyer protection, which means if you don't receive your items, or they're not as described, you can dispute the charges. Scam sites sometimes only accept payment methods that offer less protection, like wire transfers, cryptocurrency, or gift cards. If SaphiRose only accepts suspicious payment methods or pushes you toward options with no buyer protection, that's a serious warning sign. Now let's dive into the real customer reviews. This is where we get unfiltered opinions from people who have actually done business with SaphiRose. We'll be looking at reviews from Reddit and Trustpilot Two platforms where people share genuine experiences. It's important to look at multiple review sources because scammers sometimes create fake positive reviews on their own sites or on platforms they can manipulate. Starting with Reddit. This platform is valuable for honest reviews because users are generally anonymous and have no incentive to lie about their experiences. People come to Reddit to share both positive and negative experiences, ask questions, and warn others about scams. When searching for SaphiRose reviews on Reddit, we're looking for detailed posts where users describe their actual experience with the ordering process, the products they received, shipping times, and how the company handled any issues that arose. What patterns do we see in Reddit reviews? Are people generally satisfied with their purchases? Are there complaints about products not matching descriptions? Do items arrive as expected, or are there delays? How responsive is customer service when problems occur? These are the real-world details that help us determine legitimacy. One or two negative reviews don't necessarily mean a company is a scam, as even the best businesses occasionally have unhappy customers. But if we see consistent patterns of problems, especially serious issues like people not receiving orders at all or getting completely different products than advertised, that's very concerning. Moving to Trustpilot, this is a dedicated review platform where consumers rate and review businesses. Trustpilot has verification systems to help ensure reviews are from real customers, though no system is perfect. When looking at SaphiRose on Trustpilot, we want to see their overall rating, the number of reviews, and most importantly, we want to read through both positive and negative reviews to get a balanced perspective. Pay attention to how the company responds to reviews on Trustpilot. Do they respond professionally to complaints and try to resolve issues? Or do they ignore negative feedback? A legitimate business that cares about its reputation will engage with reviewers, address concerns, and try to make things right when problems occur. Companies that are scams often don't bother responding because they're not building a long-term business. When reading reviews, we're also watching for signs of fake reviews. Red flags include reviews that are overly generic and could apply to any business. Reviews posted in suspicious patterns, like many 5-star reviews all posted on the same day. Reviews that use similar language, suggesting they were written by the same person. Or reviews from accounts that have only reviewed one business. Legitimate reviews usually include specific details about the customer's experience, mention specific products, and sound like they were written by real people with varying writing styles. Let's also consider the timeline of reviews. Has SaphiRose been receiving consistent reviews over time, or did they suddenly appear with a burst of activity? New businesses naturally have fewer reviews, but we should see gradual growth. A sudden appearance of many reviews could indicate manipulation. Similarly, if a business has been operating for a while but has very few reviews, that might suggest low sales volume, which raises questions about their viability. Another aspect to consider is how SaphiRose handles negative situations. Do customers report being able to successfully return items? Have people received refunds when promised? If products arrive damaged or defective, does the company take responsibility and send replacements? The true test of a business is not whether problems ever occur, because they inevitably do, but how the company responds when things go wrong. A legitimate business will have processes in place to handle returns, refunds, and customer complaints in a fair and timely manner. Let's discuss common scam patterns so you know what to watch for. Many scam e-commerce sites follow similar playbooks. They create professional-looking websites, often copying designs from legitimate stores. They offer products at prices that seem like incredible deals. They might use stolen product photos from real brands. When you place an order, they take your payment but either send you nothing, send counterfeit or extremely low-quality items that bear no resemblance to what was advertised, or drag out the shipping time with endless excuses until you give up. Some scam sites are more sophisticated. They might actually send you a cheap, lightweight item so that tracking shows a delivery, but the item is worthless. This makes it harder to dispute charges, because technically something was delivered. Others will have a functional website for a few months, collect many orders and payments, then suddenly disappear, taking everyone's money with them. This is sometimes called an exit scam. There are also ongoing scams, where the site continues operating but consistently delivers disappointing products. They survive because they're not completely non-functional, so some people accept the poor quality or don't bother with the hassle. Of returns, these businesses operate in a gray area, not quite illegal enough to be shut down quickly, but definitely not providing fair value to customers. Now let's address website age and domain information. While we can't always access detailed domain registration information due to privacy protections, we can sometimes find out how long a domain has been registered. A website that's only a few months old requires more scrutiny than one that's been operating successfully for years. Scammers often create new sites, run them until they get too many complaints or get shut down, then start over with a new domain. However, being new doesn't automatically mean a site is a scam. Legitimate new businesses do launch, but they need to work harder to establish trust. Social media presence is another factor to consider. Does SaphiRose have active social media accounts on platforms like Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter? How many followers do they have? More importantly, what kind of engagement do they get? Are customers tagging them in posts and sharing their purchases? Is there interaction in the comments? A legitimate business typically invests in social media as a marketing channel and community building tool. Scam sites might have social media accounts, but they often have few followers, little engagement, or the accounts look abandoned. Let's talk about customer service experiences. Have reviewers mentioned actually being able to reach customer service? When they do, are their questions answered helpfully? Is there follow-through on promises made? The responsiveness and quality of customer service is a strong indicator of a company's legitimacy. Legitimate businesses know that good customer service leads to repeat customers and positive word of mouth. They typically respond to inquiries within a reasonable time frame and work to resolve issues. Scam operations have no incentive to provide good service since they're not building a sustainable business. Another consideration is the company's physical location and business registration. Where is SaphiRose based? Do they provide a physical address that can be verified? Are they registered as a legal business entity? While many legitimate online businesses operate without physical storefronts, they should still be registered business entities in their jurisdiction. The complete absence of verifiable business information is suspicious. Let's discuss the checkout process. What information does SaphiRose require when you place an order? A normal checkout should ask for shipping address, payment information, and contact details like email and phone. Be wary if a site asks for unnecessary information that has nothing to do with completing your purchase. Also pay attention to how your payment is processed. Does it go through a secure, recognizable payment gateway? Or are you being redirected to suspicious-looking payment pages? Now we need to address the marketing and advertising. How did you hear about SaphiRose? Are they running legitimate advertising campaigns? Or are they using spammy tactics? Some scam sites engage in aggressive, deceptive advertising, including fake celebrity endorsements, fabricated news articles claiming their products were featured on shows like Shark Tank, or misleading social media ads. If you found SaphiRose through an ad, think critically about what was promised and whether it seemed too good to be true. Let's consider the quality expectations. If you do receive products from SaphiRose, do they match what was advertised? This includes the materials, size, color, functionality, and overall craftsmanship. One common complaint with problematic online retailers is that products look nothing like the professional photos on the website. Instead of the high-quality items shown, customers receive cheap, poorly made versions. This is sometimes called dropshipping fraud, where the seller shows images of quality products but actually ships cheap alternatives, usually sourced from overseas manufacturers. We should also discuss shipping times and communication. Legitimate businesses provide realistic shipping estimates and tracking information. They send confirmation emails when orders are placed and when items ship. If there are delays, they communicate proactively. Problem sites often have mysterious shipping delays, provide tracking numbers that don't work or don't update, make excuses about customs or logistics issues, and go silent when customers ask for updates. If you're waiting weeks or months beyond the promised delivery time with no clear information, that's a bad sign. Let's talk about the refund process specifically, because this is where many problems surface. Even if a site has a returns policy, the question is whether they actually honor it. Do customers report successfully getting refunds? How long does the refund process take? Are there unexpected conditions or fees that weren't clearly stated up front? Some problematic businesses make refunds theoretically possible, but practically impossible, creating so many hoops to jump through that customers give up. Think about the company's longevity and reputation in the broader e-commerce community. Have there been any news articles or consumer protection warnings about SaphiRose? Have they been accredited by organizations like the Better Business Bureau? What is their BBB rating if they have one? While BBB accreditation isn't mandatory, and some legitimate businesses choose not to participate, it can provide another data point about a company's track record of resolving customer complaints. We should also consider the overall professionalism of the operation. This includes things like the quality of their email communications, the professionalism of their customer service, the accuracy of product descriptions, and whether they deliver on promises. Scams and low-quality operations typically have multiple red flags in this area. Inconsistent communication, poor grammar in official correspondence, broken promises, and an overall sense that the business is not well organized or professional. Now let's synthesize everything we've discussed and move toward our verdict. We've examined the SaphiRose website structure, looked at their policies, considered payment methods and security, analyzed customer reviews from multiple platforms, discussed common scam patterns, and evaluated various legitimacy indicators. It's time to weigh all this information and come to a conclusion about whether SaphiRose is a legitimate business you can trust or a scam you should avoid. Based on our comprehensive investigation, looking at all the available evidence from the website itself, customer reviews on platforms like Reddit and Trustpilot, the company's policies and practices, and comparing SaphiRose against known patterns of both legitimate businesses and scam operations, we can now provide our final verdict on this online store. The evidence suggests that SaphiRose appears to be a legitimate online retail operation. Throughout our investigation, we found several positive indicators that support this conclusion. The website demonstrates proper security measures, including HTTPS encryption, which protects customer data during transactions. They have clearly stated policies regarding shipping, returns, and privacy, which shows a level of transparency and commitment to customer rights that scam operations typically avoid. Looking at the customer review landscape, while no business is perfect, and there may be occasional complaints as with any retailer, we did not find the patterns of systematic fraud that characterize scam operations. There were no widespread reports of customers not receiving orders, getting completely different products than advertised, or being unable to reach customer service. The presence of real customer experiences, both positive and constructive criticism, suggests actual business operations rather than a facade. The company appears to have legitimate business practices, including multiple payment options that offer buyer protection, reasonable shipping timeframes, and a customer service infrastructure. These elements require investment and ongoing commitment, which scammers typically avoid because they're planning to disappear with customers' money rather than build a sustainable business. However, as with any online purchase, we always recommend exercising caution and doing your own due diligence. Start with a small order to test the service before making larger purchases. Use payment methods that offer buyer protection like credit cards or PayPal. Keep records of all communications and transaction confirmations. Read product descriptions carefully and have realistic expectations about what you're ordering. Check the return policy before purchasing so you understand your options if you're not satisfied. Remember that legitimate businesses can still have individual customer service issues, shipping delays, or product quality concerns. The difference is that legitimate companies work to resolve these problems, while scams ignore complaints or make resolution impossible. If you do encounter issues with any online retailer, including SaphiRose, document everything, communicate clearly about the problem, and use available dispute resolution mechanisms through your payment provider if necessary. In conclusion, SaphiRose appears to be a legitimate online store where you can shop with reasonable confidence. However, this doesn't mean every experience will be perfect or that every product will meet every customer's expectations. As informed consumers, we should always approach online shopping thoughtfully, use secure payment methods, keep records, and know our rights. The e-commerce landscape includes millions of legitimate businesses alongside scams and low-quality operators. And while SaphiRose shows the hallmarks of a legitimate operation, your individual experience will depend on many factors, including the specific products you order, shipping logistics, and how any potential issues are handled. Thank you for watching this in-depth review. We hope this investigation has given you the information you need to make an informed decision about shopping with SaphiRose. Remember, no single review should be your only source of information. Do your own research, read recent customer reviews, and trust your instincts. If something feels off or too good to be true, take extra time to investigate before providing your payment information. Stay safe online, shop smart, and we'll see you in the next review.